Hello everybody. Welcome to today's tarot deck review. I am going to be reviewing the Raven's Prophecy tarot deck, which is one of the more recent decks that I've purchased. So I bought this at Barnes & Noble, but I know it's available on Amazon, and I'm sure other websites have it too, but this is one that you can go to the bookstore and buy if they have it. I know that there's a little bit of variability when bookstores have this available, but the price, it is $30 US, 35 Canadian. So I don't remember the Amazon price, but this is, yeah. It's $30. So this is one of those decks that comes with like a really substantial size box. I prefer small boxes. That's just me. That's just what I like. But it comes in a nice box if this is something that you enjoy, with keywords and a detailed description on why the art was chosen for each card. So, you know, we have the major arcana and then moving into the minor arcana. And it is interesting because these cards are, the imagery is much different compared to other decks. So, and the messages are very different. So I'm going to show you that right now. Putting all this away. So I'll show you their size because they're a little bit smaller than a regular tarot deck. They're pretty slick, so it's kind of like they like to move around a lot. And they're more matte. They don't have a super glossy finish, but they do have a little bit of reflection. They shuffle nicely, but they're slick. So that's the one thing. They're very, very flexible. They do shuffle well. So that is something that I do like about them. Now this is, you know, my base card. Ooh, they're a lot closer. Wait. Yeah, so they're wider than Morgan Greer, but they are shorter, if that makes sense. So I thought that these were these were actually way smaller than Morgan Greer, but they're not. So yeah, it's just that they're wider and a little bit shorter. So they're about the same size. But I think that what makes these seem smaller is that they do have the orange border. And so it seems like they're a lot smaller than usual. So the imagery, like, this is a super cool Queen of Wands card. You know, like, the imagery is really clear, but again, it's another one of those decks that doesn't have a lot of context. And so if you're new to reading tarot, this is one of those things that is going to be a little bit more challenging to read. So, like, if you don't understand the Six of Coins traditional divinatory meaning, and this doesn't have explicit, this doesn't have like really clear context, it can be a little bit more challenging to interpret that. So, like, this is unlike any other High Priestess card I've ever seen. Very, very simple in some regards, but I like the way that the artist did their own interpretation of each card. So even though it's simple, it still has really interesting artwork. I don't know. I think this deck is different, and that's what I really gravitate towards, is like, it's different. The imagery is very, very unique. It's like, that's the Seven of Cups, and instead of an actual vessel, it's just the ravens holding things in their mouths. You know, so it's very, very, very different. It's kind of like, this is a little bit darker, but it's the Ten of Cups. And so this is like the happy, happy, joy, joy card, but the imagery is so dark that it makes things a little bit more interesting. So Yeah, it is a dark deck, I will say that. No, like, what's this? 5 of Wands. So it's really sticking with, interesting. I like the color choice for the shading. I like the artwork. That is the one thing. There's a few cards that I really want to make sure I show you. Because there is a lot of like single hand cards that just are, I think it's like the 8 of Swords that I want to show you in particular, because that one, it's you know, the Sun, she uses a lot of hands in this deck, which I think is really interesting. So like reflecting feeling bound, or you know, bound together with something. You know, it's you are your own worst enemy type of thing. Like you're holding yourself back. Like there's really interesting imagery here, which I like. So that's just me, but I do have a lot of respect for this artist, because it really is a unique deck that I've enjoyed working with for quite some time. I think that the cards are really unique. And so this is another one of those decks that it's like, I'm not going to recommend it for first-time tarot readers. I'm not going to recommend it for people who are learning, but it definitely is one of those decks that has a very unique imagery, a very clear style, and is something where the messages that come through are different. They're different. So the interpretation of the traditional 78 tarot cards is redefined in this deck, which I like. I like the interpretation of each card, even if the imagery isn't particularly vibrant, if that makes sense. It is a darker deck. So anywho, that is all I have for today. I hope that you've enjoyed this review. Thank you so much for everything. If you have seen a deck that I've used on my channel already that you would like me to review, go ahead and drop a comment and I can try to get that out sooner. I do go in order of requests, so it might take me a while to get there, but I am doing the ones that are requested first. So if there is something that you would like to see, go ahead and let me know. And until next time, have a great week, everyone.